For thousands of years, the story remains exactly the same. A brave warrior enters a dark lair. A nest of slithering snakes drops from the shadows, and a single terrifying gaze turns a human being to stone. We know the Gorgon as an ancient evil meant to be slain, but the surviving texts leave a wide margin for interpretation. What if history remembers her wrong? That question anchors Wilson H. Bard's short story, Macrame Owls and Encores, the opening entry in the Monsters Maybe book series. This archival photograph of the Roman Colosseum illustrates the era Medusa claims as her youth. In Bard's story, she is an immortal being who has quietly outlived the ancient empires, casually dropping references to attending those early gladiatorial games from the governor's box. In the present, she is completely divorced from the battlefield. She is a semi-retired artisan living on a rocky spit of land, running a bulk lawn ornament business called Misty Island Exports through a platform called Circe's List. Taking history's most recognizable predator and tasking her with the frustrations of small business logistics creates a specific kind of friction. We see the stone-cold killer as a woman complaining about the quality of dockside parchment and the lack of copper thread. Medusa doesn't run this enterprise alone. Her apprentice and caretaker is Alara, a 12-year-old blind orphan. Their pairing is highly functional. Because Alara is blind, she is entirely immune to the Gorgon's gaze, allowing them to share a space without the threat of accidental petrification. Inside their cottage, Medusa spends her hours obsessing over intricate weaves and macrame tapestries. Alara manages the household chores, setting the tea and running into town for specialized crafting supplies. When self-proclaimed heroes or opportunistic home invaders show up to slay the beast, they are effortlessly turned to stone and added to the garden statue inventory, often tagged and sold before the week is out. This bond transforms Medusa into a protective figure, providing a home for an orphan while maintaining the sharp edges of a professional recluse. This wide view of ancient Greek ruins overlooking Athens shows the sprawling, chaotic environment Alara navigates during the routine supply run. She travels into the city by boat to procure specific goods, like colored silks and glass beads. The routine shatters when 3 bumbling local thugs kidnap her. They assume she works for a wealthy patron and plan to use her as leverage. Alara immediately relies on her sharp intellect. While bound in the wagon, she covertly slips aquamarine star beads out of a velvet pouch, dropping them to create a physical trail. To stall the men, Alara invents a wildly complicated fictional layout of her patron's island compound. This animated diagram illustrates how she feeds them impossible geography. Guard towers that shift positions depending on the tide. She details overlapping patrol routes for 27 guards, equipped with 8-foot spears, and demanding passphrases in a made-up language. She finishes the illusion by claiming the vaults are protected by exotic guard animals. This vintage photograph shows a Tasmanian tiger, the exact beast Alara names to keep her paranoid captors locked in a state of confusion. Alara weaponizes storytelling to maintain control of the room, using her wit to ensure her own survival while waiting for the trail of beads to be discovered. Back at the cottage, Medusa realizes her apprentice is missing when the afternoon tea goes unmade. She fastens a silver blade to her wrist and wraps herself in a heavy travel cloak. Using a magical cameo mirror, she opens a portal directly into the Athens streets. Following the mud and boot prints, she catches a glimmer in the dirt. She tracks the specific 27-point aquamarine star beads out of the city and into the foothills. Medusa reaches an abandoned red barn just as the thugs run out of patience and realize Alara has been playing games with them. The leader of the crew makes a final mistake. As Medusa steps into the doorway, cloaked in shadows, the thug mocks her and draws a heavy sword, preparing to strike. There is no long battle. Medusa pulls back her cowl. The thugs look into her eyes, and the men are instantly frozen in stone. The mythic curse of the Gorgon is deployed here as a tool of swift justice to protect the child she cares for. Medusa ensures Alara is unhurt, and then casually unshackles the thug's captive gray wolf, Old Brutus, telling the animal they are going home. The tension dissipates as Medusa inspects the three newly petrified men. She notes they will make perfectly good peasant art inventory for the Misty Island export storefront. The entire rescue is built on the observation Alara makes early in the story: "I do not need to see your face to know your heart." The men who kidnapped a child for profit represent the true cruelty in this world. The fabled Gorgon is a woman who wants to weave her tapestries in peace and protect her family. This short story establishes the recurring logic of Monsters, Maybe series, which re-examines history's villains by questioning who wrote the records and what they stood to gain by casting their targets as monsters. Ultimately, the story suggests that monstrosity is defined by a person's actions, rather than the scales on their head, a thought worth considering the next time you're browsing for garden decor online.